George Carlin said, think of how stupid the average person is. And realize half of them are stupider than that. What real life example have you seen that validates this view? A woman I used to work with who insisted that any animal could reproduce with any other animal. She believed that sperm from any animal was the same, and that DNA was irrelevant. She believed this because she once saw some sickly, possibly deformed puppies, and decided that they must have been half dog and half rat. One of my nieces had a cold as a toddler, and was breathing through her mouth. My ex-Bill flipped out, because he didn't want her to get carbon monoxide poisoning from breathing through her mouth instead of her nose, the normal way. I worked at a bank. Mobile depositing had just became a thing. We received a picture of someone's cash for deposit. Yay. There is a considerable overlap between the intelligence of the smartest bears and the dumbest tourists. Yasa my park ranger on why it's hard to design a bear-proof garbage can. I worked at Little Caesars and we were proofing the dough for pizza. My boss said, at 7 p.m., that the dough needed to rise for 12 hours, and took out her calculator to do the math. So I said that's gonna be 7 a.m. Then she said the dough will expire in 48 hours, and started doing the math again. I told her it would expire 2 days from now, and she said that's kinda weird how that works out. I quit shortly after that. On 9/11 the general manager called his daughter who was attending ASA to wake her up and make sure she saw what was going on. The customer service manager said, it won't be on her TV yet. Arizona is 2 hours behind us. I teach 6th grade. One time a parent came to me after trying to help their child with math homework and asked, what number is X worth? It feels like it changes with every problem. Infantryman was told to trim the hedges. So he lifted the lawnmower. His buddy started it. As a brand new medic, I spent about 6 hours pulling finger meat from the hedges. I once offered a girl a tuna sandwich, and made a comment about the tuna being dolphin friendly. She then said I thought tuna fish came from dolphins. Just scroll down a web page or Facebook feed, and have a look at the ads. Things like only 2% can solve this puzzle crap like that. Those ads get posted so much, because they actually work on a lot of people. The woman that called into a radio station to complain about the deer crossing signs on a highway saying that the deer will see the sign and consider this place a safe place to cross the road. In grade 10, we had a science test, and the teacher gave 1 point for putting a date on the paper, and 1 point for your name on the paper, and then there were 98 points for the rest of the test. A guy sitting in front of me got 0, 5, 100. Didn't write the date and only wrote his first name. I once got into an argument with someone over my own name. There are 2 pronunciations, German and English, and they just couldn't accept the fact that I use the English pronunciation despite the fact that we were speaking English, and it's what I've used my whole life. But nope, I was lying to mess with them. Was at a party and someone's crappy old truck got stuck in some mud, so instead of sobering up and coming back the next day, he makes a Molotov cocktail with gas and throws it at the truck. The truck caught fire and was completely destroyed. Myself, looking for my phone when it was in my hand all the time, then answering a call and continuing looking for it during the call. Edit. Thanks for the award and damn. Using glasses must suck sometimes. People that cut holes in their masks because it's easier to breathe. The fact Florida had to tell people not to shoot at the hurricane. I worked with a lady who was remarking on how a friend of hers had lost a bunch of weight. She pondered, I wonder how many Diet Cokes she had to drink to do that. Edit. Same lady was convinced beyond repair that when you sneeze, the air only comes out of your nose. There was no convincing her otherwise. One of my closest friends. Really good guy, but well, I'm learning Spanish, and I once told him I was reading this Don Quijote book, but I complained about how difficult it was, because it was written in 1605. And he said wait, Spanish existed back then. I was doing a covered decan of a medical supply warehouse that had a confirmed positive employee not too long ago, and while my team was inside doing our thing, the floor shift manager was following us around without a mask or gloves or really any of the proper PPE except for a high-vis vest and steel toe boots. I had to tell her to leave the room. I was fogging with viricide. Edit. Meanwhile, we were wearing full level C hazmat suits with P100 combo cartridge respirators and all seams taped up. A former coworker was talking about how she wanted to go back to school to get her master's degree because she only had a bachelorette degree and wanted more job opportunities. I said, "Do you mean a bachelor's degree?" She insisted it was pronounced bachelorette when it was given to a woman. Then she led me back to her office and pointed at her diploma to the word baccalaureate and said, "See, bachelorette." Every time I put on my glasses so I can see better while looking for my glasses. High school history. Topic: Titanic. So the iceberg was about the size of a yes maze. D. Don't icebergs fall out of the sky? To this day I picture a iceberg the size of a small island falling from the sky being seen for hundreds of miles away like a duck in Meteor. That people act surprised at the total death count going up. It's always going to go up. If it was going down, that's an entirely different pandemic altogether. On the Man Show they set up a booth on some pier, I think Santa Monica, and were getting women to sign up to end women's suffrage. Tons of women were signing. Obviously, being the Man Show, this was a joke on women, but the reality is the amount of people in general who do not know suffrage is the right to vote, and not some sort of suffering, is far too high. I had a bald man return a hairdryer because it burnt his head. The flat earther that tried to launch himself into ducking space and died. The people who believe 5G is responsible for spreading the virus. Seriously. I don't understand how electromagnetic signals could possibly distribute a biologically impactful virus. Seriously. There's a new low every month. Yeah. That trick where you call water by a scary chemical name like dihydrogen monoxide, so that people will want to regulate or ban it. I had a friend once who truly believed that magicians like Chris Angel and David Blaine had some kind of magical power or telekinesis. Something along those lines. While watching one of those magicians on TV performing on the street, he argued, how could this be fake? Look at all those people. Can't fake all that. Has to be some kind of power or magic. I would then have to ask, do you realize that movies are fake? They fake entire universes, planets, cities, war, etc. He didn't get what I was getting at. When farms have trouble producing their crops, and you ask some dip crap if that worries them. I don't get my food from a farm. I get it from Walmart. The average voter. Churchill said it best. The best argument against democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. Can I get a medium pizza? We actually only have large. Oh, okay. Let me get a small then. We only sell large pizzas. Oh, I see now. I'll go ahead and get the medium then. Edit. Our large is the smallest we have. We have large, extra large, and 26 feet. We call it large for marketing purposes. I just finished tutoring to Intro to CAMPC courses. Lesson 1 in about defining variables. Naturally, there's people that didn't know how to do that by the final. People learn at different rates. I get that. But how did you not learn lesson 1 after 15 weeks? 20-ish homework assignments, 7 quizzes, and 2 previous exams. The people burning down 5G towers to prevent COVID-19. People who think Arabic numerals shouldn't be taught in schools. In the 80s, Iran W attempted to compete with McDonald's Quarter Pounder burger by selling a third pounder for the same price. The operation failed tremendously, with virtually no one buying the burger. When they surveyed customers for an explanation, The majority of customers responded that they didn't want to pay the same price for less meat. Their customers genuinely believed that 1/3 was less than 1/4 and refused to try the newer N.W. burger because of it. Edit. Obligatory duck everyone who says repmyinbox I hate that crap. Groups of people leaving their house to block the roads to a hospital because they are upset that they can't leave their house. American voters were surveyed as to which they liked better, Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. ACA. The ACA had drastically higher support. They are the same ducking thing. The amount of people that seemingly failed, skipped, didn't pay attention to high school science, biology, chemistry class. I had a 16-year-old new start ask me at work, was the world black and white before they invented color TVs? Nice guy. Dumb as a rock. Some bastard in a mirror. Ducker has been following me for years. That Reddit is literally an echo chamber, but is surprised as hell to learn that they don't represent the entire world. Here is an article about a woman who tore a hole in her face mask cause she couldn't breathe. People protesting their rights were taken away because they have to stay at home during a pandemic to save lives, simultaneously citing that their predecessors fought in WW2 for their freedom, ignoring that drafted people had their rights taken away to fight in a war, which seems a lot tougher than sitting in the den. Every time someone says, we just need let the virus burn through the population, it only really affects like 3% of people. It's astonishing how little people understand basic statistics. Those that persist in believing that climate change is a Chinese hoax. When I used to work in McDonald's about 8 years ago, I would like the 2 boxes of 9 chicken nuggets please sir. You can have 1 box of 20 for £1.40 less. No. 2 boxes of 9 please.